The Many Saints of Newark, a Sopranos story. Pretty good movie. Really enjoyed it. It is a prequel to the hit American drama The Sopranos. The story follows the mentor and uncle of Antonio Soprano, the main character of the Sopranos series. The main character of this is his uncle Dickie Moltesanti. It follows his life story and showcases what inspired Tony to become Tony Soprano, but it mainly focuses on Dickie himself and not Tony becoming Tony Soprano, although that is in the movie. It is not the main focus. The main focus itself is about Dickie and his ongoings in his life. The writing of the movie is very well done. I felt the first act had a bit of a slow burn issue because it introduced a lot of new characters and a lot of events and a lot of little small things that paid off later. But at the same time, I do love the fact that they did that. All of the little things, almost everything in the movie that they showed mattered later on in the movie, whether it be something that they showed to deceive the audience in order to get them to believe one thing and then something else happened, or it to showcase a character's development by showing how they react in this situation versus how they react in another situation, or showcase they care about this and then they do this, so on and so forth. It did a very good job of portraying that, and ended on a bit of a cliffhanger, which I'm unsure if I would like them to continue making Sopranos prequels. If they do, I'll definitely check them out, but um hopefully they're just as good or maybe even better. The acting in this movie is outstanding. Every actor really gave it their all in this, especially um, Michael Gandolfini, James Gandolfini's son, who took on the role of a teenage Antonio Soprano. I thought he did a fantastic job. He really captured the essence that his father had in the role, and it looked like he was just re- reenacting the character on screen. So, fantastic job. Um, I really liked all of the actors and actresses who played titular characters from the show. I don't know all of their names, but I loved every last one of them. People who portrayed Silvio, Paulie, Pussy, Liv Soprano, Johnny Boy. Oh, John Bernthal is Johnny Boy Soprano. Did a great job. All of them fantastic at portraying these characters. Was awesome. Something that really stood out to me though was the cinematography and the set design. This really feels like an old time movie. Well, not the movie feels old, but like the setting in itself has a really nice vibe to it. You really feel like this movie was shot in that time period, and I love that. I love the costume design and everything. I never once felt like, oh, this is just down the road from me. This looks like they shot it like a few blocks away, and then no, it never has that feeling. It really well. Even something that didn't even think I would care about. Something very small that like the payphones that they use in the movie are dial up instead of button push, because phones had to evolve into that. Really enjoyed that. Um, all in all, oh right, there is a massive spoiler at the beginning of this movie for the Sopranos TV series. So if you've never seen the Sopranos, the very beginning of this movie will have a massive spoiler. Granted, the show is 20 years old, so it's fine, I guess, but I was just very shocked that they would put such a massive spoiler right at the beginning of the movie. Uh, but that being said, really good movie. Give it like a 4 out of 5. And with that, I am going to get into spoilers for the movie. So if you have any apprehensions about hearing spoilers, then I suggest you click off now. All right? Okay, here I go. So, Dickie Moltesanti being killed by Junior Soprano, that was a nice surprise. And as someone who I just recently watched all of The Sopranos in preparation for this movie, that is very in line with Junior Soprano's character. He is definitely a vindictive prick that would do something that outlandish for something completely superfluous. So it definitely fit in line. And back to what I was saying earlier about the movie misleading the audience, I like the fact that the whole movie they build up this relationship between Harold and Dickie and the war that starts between them, and it makes you think that, you know, for me, since I knew Dickie was already dead from seeing the show, thinking that, it's possible that Harold, might have sent someone to go and kill Dickie, and then for it to be revealed that it was Junior was very nice. I do think that they could have had more time to showcase Junior's disdain towards Dickie, because it's only really like two scenes where you see that. They get the point across well enough, but it just feels like the movie needed more time to get everything that I wanted to get across over with. Uh, Little things about like Dickie's character that I really liked. You see through different scenes throughout the movie that Dickie likes the idea of being seen as a saint. He's always helping out people. His family loves him. He's idolized. He ended up killing his father because he didn't like the idea of his father beating his Gumar. So Dickie ended up killing him and then took her on for himself. And then Dickie killed her at the end of the movie, showing that despite all of his apprehensions and all the facades he has out there, he's no better than his father. He's no better than all these other criminals and mobsters that he hangs around with. He's not the saint that he would have people believe. I loved his relationship with Tony in the movie. You really get the sense and feeling of like this is a relationship that you can see between two real people. Like, like someone who has their favorite uncle that will idolize them, look up to them, and everything like that. It really felt natural, and I enjoyed it a lot. And it really hurt when Dickie was just crying and bawling because he didn't want to be in Tony's life anymore, because he didn't want Tony to end up just like him. And he's just sitting there crying as Tony's banging on the door trying to get his attention. It was very heartbreaking, but I really did love it. And it really hurt more that Dickie died like shortly after that. I was not expecting that. That really hurt to see. But the final scene of this movie, oh my god, that just was fantastic. The funeral for Dickie Moltesanti, seeing Tony show up there and Pinky promised Dickie, like he did earlier in the movie, about taking care of his family, showing that this is the moment that Antonio Soprano became Tony Soprano, the mobster, was fantastic. Having the classic intro theme to The Sopranos kick in right there with the narration from Chrissy going, "That's the guy, my Uncle Tony, the man I went to hell for," was fantastic. Beautiful cinematography for this thing. That is just an epic moment that I will not forget. Oh, really good. And minor things that I found very funny was just like little interactions of like Livia Soprano. Like, for example, the recreations of scenes from the show, like how you saw the flashback in the show where Tony saw his dad get arrested for the first time at the carnival, and you actually see that in the movie now. I really like that scene, or how they actually had the scene from The Sopranos where they told the story of Tony's father shooting a gun through their mother's hair, and then she changed it to a bob cut, and you actually got to see that, and it was very fun. It was funny in a very dark sense, because that scene itself wasn't funny. Like, their story made it seem very funny in the show, but actually watching it in the movie, it was really messed up, and you could tell that this was a very toxic relationship that they had. But yeah, that about wraps that up, and catch you later.